Welcome to Breaking the Chain. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Cody.
And we got a lot this week. We had the Pro Tour happen. We have Guardian Mastery Pack spoilers. There's like a lot of fun stuff to cover over this week. But to start off, what did you do in Flesh and Blood?
I went to an armory this past week for the first time in like 2 months or something, something crazy
That's
like that.
crazy.
I it's funny too because I had just gotten back from vacation. My wife and I drove out to like the southwestern part of Colorado, to go check out a ton of the historic sites there. Long story short, I was on vacation until Tuesday. Drove back. It was like a 6-hour drive Tuesday, and the last minute I was just like, I'm itching to play some Flesh and Blood. So I like, scrambled, put together as close to the top performing -IO deck from Pro Tour Singapore, which we'll get into the Pro Tour Singapore later on. But I took the top list and just like quickly threw it together. It wasn't even in exactly that list. I couldn't find all the cards, so I just kind of like made it as close to it as possible because I didn't have much time. Ran over to the new store for the Tuesday Armory that opened up because I wanted to check it out, see what the new store was like. Also, I needed the time because they start at 6:30 instead of 6. And play that Armory with -IO, and I shared the undefeated status because there was 2 of us that were undefeated and they didn't want to run a 5th round and I didn't want to run a 5th round either.
How many people showed up?
It was 17, so it was like just
wow.
enough that there was one extra undefeated person after 4 rounds. But yeah, I've been missing Flesh and Blood. I've also been missing -IO. That deck is so fun. By the final game, I played against Syndra, and I kept telling the opponent, I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm high rolling the absolute shit out of you because like my turn, I won every die roll first of all, so I got to go first every game.
Goodness.
And against like our good friend Noah, who was on the podcast before, I played him in round 3. He was on Gravy Bones, and I got to go first. And I was like, all right, let's see it. Red boom grenade in hand, red boom grenade on top of the deck. Drop my hand, red boom grenade. I'm like, look at the top of the deck, no red boom grenade, but it was fine. I still got to set up a boom grenade for the next turn, and ended up taking that down very, very close. It was literally he drew 3 cards. Rather, I pulse waved him. I took his last blue, so he had a prismatic leyline in hand, and then on his turn he pitches to gold to draw a card, draws a red, and then he activates Gravy, draws a red. And then he just can't do anything. He doesn't have an ally because I killed his Oyston with the Symbiosis shot that turn 2 to make sure he couldn't attack me because I was at 1. And so his turn just completely bricks, and then I take down the game from there. But he had to miss basically like it's like 3 times. Oh, that's right, because he also opted. He also had the helmet that destroys the top card of your deck. So he saw he had a red on top, destroyed it, cracked gold into a red, and then gravied into a red. Instant, just whiffed too many times for me to get there.
Crazy.
But sorry, I got sidetracked. But on my final round to play against Syndra, went first. The reason I brought that game up was because I was like, okay, please, red boom grenade in hand, red on top of the deck. I pull my hand against Syndra, 2 red boom grenades in hand. Look at the top card of my deck, red boom grenade. Let's go! So I play one, pitch one to play the second one. All 3 red boom grenades, all cold foil. Turn 0 on the board, basically, 1 in the pitch zone. I'm just like, I'm so sorry. And then I just absolutely blast them from there. It was not even close. I felt actually sorry. It was close, surprisingly, but it was. I just did not give him any space.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It was a lot of fun. I miss playing Dia, but yeah, that was my week in Flesh and Blood. How about you?
I didn't actually do a lot of Flesh and Blood. I went out to a baseball game instead of the Armory for like the first time in forever, and I know I played just like tabletop Flesh and Blood. I think I played like 2 or 3 games. So I didn't actually do a lot of Flesh and Blood this week. I really wanted to do more, but didn't have a good opportunity this week.
Yeah, that's been me for the past 2 months, so I don't blame you. But
yeah, it's like
good.
I was gonna say, like, my schedule's still a little wacky, all over the place. But it was like my day off was yesterday, and I went and played games too with some friends, some board games and all that. And then today is
Fun.
like, okay, I can finally put some time in today. I have today off. So I might have a lot more about it this week. But
I was gonna ask actually, are you planning on going to the 1K that's in Colorado Springs? It's on a Sunday. Yeah, it's on a Sunday. It's like August 10th.
oh, I might actually be able to go to that.
Maybe we could carpool if you're down, because I'm
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
going to that one. I'm gonna bring Dash.io, and then I'm gonna go to Calling Kansas City. I think it's the week after, actually, the weekend after that. So that's kind of why I've been ramping up my Flesh and Blood plays, because I'm playing that 1K and then I'm playing Calling Kansas City. And I'm definitely playing Dash.io on both of them. Like it's just happening. I don't care if she's not the best pick. I'm playing Dash.io. it's just what's happening.
The Guardian Mastery Pack cards will be out.
They actually.
We'll see.
When do they come out again? What's the street date for them?
August 8th.
Oh. Interesting. So they're legal for Calling Kansas City.
We'll see how big of a change they make to deck
I didn't
building.
realize that.
I think Valda's gonna get the big boost, but I think
thought it was going to be after. It is. It's August 8th. So it's legal for Calling. No, sorry. It's legal for both the 1K and Calling Kansas City. That might change the things.
You don't want to play Dash.io until like Guardian?
50 million Guardians? Because the Springs is going to be full of Guardians. I just know that like all of Blood Rush fellows are going to be on Guardians as long as they're decent.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah,
That's
then if you go,
big-
you can play Guardian there and have all the new stuff.
I know. The problem is like getting all the new cards, but I have a sinking feeling I'm gonna get a little too much of this mastery pack.
I have a sinking feeling I'm gonna get 0 cards from that set.
That's totally fair.
Although I do still like have this weird draw to the Guardian. Like I do want to play Guardian. I have too many cards. I don't need to get more.
That's fair.
I don't need to build more decks.
Again, if you ever need to borrow a Guardian, I've got lists, I've got cards, I got decks. Like
I believe it. I believe
one
it.
ass. Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about... Oh, go ahead.
We did have the Pro Tour this week.
Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about the Pro Tour. It was our last podcast. We recorded Thursday night instead of Friday morning like usual. So we didn't have the day one info. We literally had the keynote that happens. Is it the day before or right before? Regardless.
I think it's Thursday, and then you have Friday is when it starts.
Right, but Singapore is 14 hours ahead of us. And so basically when we were recording Thursday night, it was Friday morning for Singapore. So then we were... Yeah, like round one, I think, was starting when we recorded our podcast. And so we basically have an entire PQ to cover, is what I'm trying to get at there. So even though it's a little bit old news, we want to cover it really quick. So do you want to go ahead and actually, I'll just go through the top 8 really quick since I have it here. Top 8 was in Heroes. It was 4 Gravy Bones, 2 Slippies, a Syndra, and a Verdance. Now, how close was that to your prediction, Jacob?
Not close at all. Like
I think it was pretty close to both of ours, actually. I think you said there was going to be an Ira, and there wasn't one here, but we'll get to that in a second. And then
I think I also said a Prism.
Yeah. I think I might have had a Prism up there too. But then other than that, I think we both said like there were going to be some Gravies, some Slippies. I think I had 2 or 3 Verdance on my list, but I think we both said a Syndra, right? I think we both had a Syndra on there.
I think it's like hard to remember exactly. I remember I guessed like 3 Slippy, 2 Gravy, Ira, I think Syndra, and Prism. That sounds what I guessed.
Exactly. So I think we were pretty close considering. But yeah, 4 Gravies. Gravy kind of dominated the top 8. The names were on Gravy Bones. I'm gonna butcher these names. Shurui Wu, Arthur Trahay, Michael Hamilton, and Enki Dupakir. And then there was Tom Escoffier and Jimmy Nguyen on Slippy, Nathaniel Gerald Bay on Syndra, and Edison Yu on Verdance. And who won that tournament?
It was Shiru Wu from Singapore.
Yeah.
I hope I pronounced that correctly, but I probably butchered
We
it.
both probably said it wrong.
Sorry.
In the gravy mirror in the finals against Enki
Mhm.
Dupakir. Dupakir. So yeah, Gravy performed pretty well at Pro Tour Singapore.
Well, it's like really interesting because like he performed really well in the Pro Tour, and then you look outside the Pro Tour at like even the calling that happened right next door, and there's only one Gravy in the finals, from what I can tell.
I have no idea actually. I couldn't find a bracket for that one.
It's somewhere. It's really weird because I found the top 4 easy. I can't find the top 8.
Oh,
But
wait,
from what I
actually, hold on.
hear,
I can see it right here. Let me pull it up. The calling. I can look at the standings.
there we go.
So the finals was Shoma Yamamura on Ira versus Michael Fung on Gravy Bones, and Shoma took it down with Ira. The rest of the top 4 also had Josh Lind on Jarl and Peter Bedenzik on Slippy.
I didn't even notice the Jarls. I like pulled the list aside while you're like naming the people off. So it's gonna be
yeah, there's a
exciting.
Jarl that made top 8 of the calling, top 4 specifically, and then going down to top 8, we had an Acilio, a Florian, a Fang, and another Slippy. So much more diverse top 8 here for the calling.
Yeah, the calling looks more what I think a lot of people expected.
Yeah, I was surprised not to see. I mean, there is a big difference in terms of the Pro Tour and the calling, right? Because the Pro Tour has the draft, 6 rounds of draft in there, and so it kind of skews the CC heroes that make top 8 a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit, right? Because sometimes people have the right CC deck, but they just don't get there in draft. But the calling is only only CC, and so we can see a much wider variety of decks make the top 8 there.
Yeah, so it is kind of like interesting to see the differences because it does look like Gravy dominated in the Pro Tour, but that's what it's like. Oh, you look at the calling and it looks a lot less Gravy dominated. And then you have the Battle Hardened, which is LL, so it's not quite the same. But you had a Ira, Briar, New, Icelander, Dromai, Dash.io, Briar, and Zen in the top 8.
Yeah, this is for Living Legend, correct?
Yeah, Living Legend.
Yeah.
And not Nabib or not
Naib.
Thank you. Naib Mobasayer won on Ira. So I was right that Ira was going to have a dominant weekend.
I was going to say, yeah, even though there were no Iras that made top 8 of the Pro Tour, Ira won both the Classic Constructed Calling and the Living Legend Battle Hardened. I did not have Ira being a Living Legend monster on my bingo card. That was not something that I expected, actually.
So I have like a couple things to say. One, I don't think either list used any new cards.
No, that's not correct, actually. Sorry, my bad. Naive in the Pro Tour, he didn't make top 8, but he made day 2, and his CC list did have new cards.
Okay, I missed that.
But actually, I was thinking about that one. I'm not. You're probably right about Shoma's list.
Because I'm pretty sure Shoma's was all old cards. It was really cool because what was it? He's running. I watched his game. Not give and take. It's the
Dual threat.
No, not even dual threat. It was
the backside. I'm looking at the list right now. Even bigger than that.
That's what it was. Even bigger than that.
Wow.
Which was like super cool and interesting tech. And he did some really crazy lines with it. Where he I think he threw sensor into CNC. And also he censored like a Conqueror of the Seas like 3 turns in a row, or like 2 turns in a row, ate his hand, and then a third turn.
I feel like you'd want the
Like
opposite. Wouldn't you want to go CNC and then censor?
maybe that's what he did. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he did some even bigger than that plays that went like crazy, and it was super cool.
That is
And it
cool.
was against Michael Fang. So it was 2 Pro Tour champions playing in the finals of the calling.
That's really cool to see that the best performing Ira list in the Pro Tour was a Edge of Autumn list, and then the best performing Ira deck in the calling was a Kodachi list.
Was it not Kadachi's that won the
That's what I'm
oh, in the
saying.
Pro Tour?
Yeah, sorry. In the Pro Tour that didn't win, it was an Edge of Autumn deck, but it did do really well. I think it made like 17th or something. Like just barely didn't make top 8.
That's
Um,
crazy.
but
Just
yeah,
shows you how good Ira is.
I mean, 1 value per turn is pretty good.
It is pretty good. And like apparently if you know how to play her, you can play her really well.
Yeah, she can be tricky. She can be very defensive. She has a lot of modality in terms of her hands being defensive versus aggressive. She can just do a lot of damage. Like dual threat is a real card.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy.
I like
It's
it a
cool
lot.
seeing dual threat off.
It's
Like
I
go
think
off.
it's really cool. Dual threat plus Whirling Mist Blossom is actually really cool too because your Whirling Mist Blossom would then be your final card on the dual threat turn, which would then come in for 5. And
Mhm.
after you've already done a ton of damage, so now you're like, hey, here's 5 that you have to block, or else I draw 2 cards, and can like
Right?
CNC you after or something.
It is like an interesting like thing you can do. I really like dual threat. It is such a cool Ira card.
I agree. I like it a lot. Yeah, so really
But
cool weekend. I was excited to see all these lists perform.
yeah, I'm glad that I knew Ira was coming in hot. She didn't come in hot with any new cards, but she still came in hot. And one thing I wanted to say with Battle Hardened that was Living Legend, I'm pretty sure it's the Ira list that never got a play because they had to ban the pick up the point. Or not pick up the
Yes.
point. They had to ban the Zephyr Needles.
Zephyr Needle. Yeah, so it was a Zephyr Needle list. Yeah. I think it
Where
might
it's
have
like,
also had
oh,
the new stuff, some of the new stuff in there, if I remember correctly.
Living Legend. Okay. I have way too many tabs open now. But Ira, let's see.
Now I'm curious if it ran any new cards. It looks like it didn't
It
actually.
ran the
No.
Robes of Autumn's Fall because it's no Rune 1.
Because it's wait. Oh, that's I
Arcane
see.
Barrier 1.
It's literally just no rune chest, no rune robe. That's all it is.
It's a fancy looking null rune robe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the rest of it looks
It seems normal. But anyway,
why. One Whirling Mist Blossom. Interesting.
so yeah, really
Yeah,
fun weekend.
anyways.
Um, I I do wish that I was there, but I couldn't really justify it. It's just so far away. It's such a cumbersome trip to make it out to, cost and time wise. Um, but I'm excited to get back in the game now. I took my little break, back in it now for the fall season. Um, I'm actually going back and watching some of the games now, like later, like a week later, because there are some really interesting games to watch. I thought the top 8 was really cool. I've only seen 1 or 2 of the games so far, but a lot of really cool play. I know you
Yeah,
said you watched a lot of it.
I watched a lot of it, and I watched a little bit of the top 8. Unfortunately, that's like where I missed a bit of all of that. But the top 8 started off pretty strong with like the Michael Hamilton and where is it? One sec. Pro
I didn't know what
Tour.
was in his arsenal at the end of the game because we were in this call waiting to start. And I was like, wait, Michael had he had this card in there for a while. I just kept backing up, and it was just stuck in his arsenal from at one point when he cracked a golden arsenal card.
Yeah, Michael Hamilton and Enki. And that was a crazy game because like it was turn 3 and I'm like, wow, Michael Hamilton's already dead. Like this game's over, whatever. I'll just continue watching. Like I was waiting for because I was actually gonna play some games online with some friends, and that's why I didn't watch most of the finals. But
Yeah.
I was like sitting and waiting, and then the game I'm like just waiting and waiting. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is back. Like Michael Hamilton might win this. And it ended up becoming really close. And it was a really cool game to watch that way. And then I did watch the Tom Escoffier and Jimmy Newen uh, game as well. And that was a crazy game because it was like Jimmy Newen was in a very similar situation where he was like behind against Tom. And it was something where like he had to make a bunch of perfect calls or like guess bluffs and get around bluffs. Like there was a Bonds of Agony with a full hand that Tom threw at Jimmy Newen. And Jimmy's just like, you're not gonna buff it. Like
No
no
blocks.
blocks. And like they sat there forever like thinking about it, because like it's like a tough spot. And if he loses that bluff, I think he loses the game. But he just like I think he had like the hand texture and understood his spot in the game that he's like no blocks, and he got it correct and gained momentum. And then he made another guess correct, which he ended up gaining like the lead at that point. But then I think Tom made like a big guess in like a bluff, like a similar kind of situation as that, and was able to turn it back around and win the game. It was really cool because it was like, oh, he had so much momentum, and then he made a couple like bad bets, and then he was behind and had to try and catch himself back up. So it was pretty cool.
Flesh and Blood's great.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah. Man, unless you have anything else you want to talk about regarding Pro Tour Singapore, we can talk about the next Pro Tour qualifier change.
Oh yeah, that's so this is yeah, we can talk about this, but this is like crazy news. It like blew up all over Flesh and Blood.
A lot of discussion about this one.
And it's like really interesting because like before the podcast we start sitting down like we're talking like we did, and Cody's like, oh, I think we have different opinions. So I'm like really interested to see your opinion on this.
It was a slight prediction. We could be on the exact same page. I was just like, maybe we're gonna be off like on the opposite sides of this thing. But for those that have not heard the discussion yet, there was an article that came out regarding ProQuest Yokohama, and it added this restricted player eligibility portion that says ProQuest seasons are intended to provide a qualification pathway for players for the next Pro Tour, and players who have already qualified are restricted from entering events as followed. A player who wins a ProQuest Yokohama event may not play in any more ProQuest events during the season. This means if you win your first ProQuest, you cannot play any further ProQuests that season. And for reference, how it worked before was if you had won a ProQuest and you get to the finals and you win another ProQuest, the invite would actually drop down to second place. So before they kind of already had this not poaching, like anti-grinding mechanic in there, where basically if you went to all your pro quests and won a ton of them, then or won a handful of them, then the invite would pass down. I don't know how it works if you won, if there were two people that qualified and both of them had already won pro quest and then one, would third place get it? It probably didn't pass down. Though. Yeah, because third and fourth don't play a game to figure out who's third and fourth. But regardless, there was a mechanic in place already to limit the invites being thrown away, and they added this additional restriction on if you win, you just can't play anymore. And there's been a lot of discussion on this. Basically, people are not quite happy with the change. There's a lot of people that are saying they understand why it exists, and they understand that there were a lot of crushers that were going to 6 or 7 PQs and farming gold foils and whatnot, and that it helps in that regard. But there's been a lot of discussion of people that say, hey, I want to play in these pro quests. Even if I'm not playing for the invite or the gold foil, I want to just play with people. Like, I just want to play the game. And Flesh and, Fab LSS has said, no, we don't want the crushers to be at every pro quest. We want to give the locals a more fair chance to win the invite at their local store. So I'm gonna start. What are your thoughts on this, Jacob?
So I don't want to say I have a super strong opinion because this doesn't directly affect me in the way that I have never run a pro quest. So I'm not someone that's gonna have this affect me, especially like first
So
week. And I've
that's not entirely true though, right? Because the
that's not
change affects you whether or not you win a pro quest or not. Because if someone has won a pro quest and then you lose to them, that's affected you. Now this change
well,
does affect you.
well, sorry, I should explain this better. It doesn't affect me in that way. It doesn't
Right,
affect
right.
me in like I've won a pro quest, so this is something that I have to deal with like week one and out, or it's like something I don't really think of that way. But it's something where I've top four pro quest, I've topped eight pro quest. I've been like much less recently. I still top four this last pro quest season, but like much less recently am I in the top eight. But I am someone when like I was a lot more competitive, this would have benefited me. Where like I ended up losing, I think one pro quest was to like Easton Douglas, which I'm sure a lot of you heard Easton Douglas. I lost to him in top four and won, and like I don't know if he won it, but like I'm sure he won a few pro quests at some point. So it's like the this like benefits me in a way where like this if I jump back into like the competitive scene that I was beforehand, like this benefits me where like oh those like more barriers that I had like I don't want to call one barrier, but like it opens up more of the field to me, and I don't have to play the same people in the top eight that I keep losing to in a way. But at the same time, like I'm not a huge fan of this change, just because why not just have it passed down further? If someone's won a pro quest, they'll have it passed down to second. If they won a pro quest, have it passed down to third. Just because, like, I think going to this. Like, I don't want to feel like, oh, I won because some people couldn't show up. Like, I wanted to go in and be like, I won because I beat everyone and I was good enough to take over this event. I don't have a super strong opinion again, but it is like I gain because I've been at that level where I've gotten held down by like people that win a lot of pro quests.
So so then to like summarize on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you don't like the change, 10 being you love the change, and 5 being you're indifferent, where on that scale would you put yourself?
One was I don't like to change, right?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, it's like A is that you don't like the change.
Yeah,
B
yeah.
anyway. I'm
No,
trying
no,
to
you're
gauge
good.
because it sounds like
I would
you
say
like the
around
change.
like three is where like I'm not a huge fan of the change, but it's like I'm not like super far over the line. Like I'm like, I don't really like it because I like the competition and feeling like I really earned the win. It does benefit me in a way, but it also it's just weird because like I understand the feeling of just going to ProQuest because you like to play the game. Like uh,
Right.
especially when I was bad at the game. When I first started playing the game, I went to ProQuest just because it was fun to go to those big events and see all the people I met in armories and all these people I've met over the time of playing this game. It's really fun to go to those. And I understand like you don't have to be in the ProQuest to show up, but it is like I'm not gonna drive an hour sometimes just to go and talk to some friends and like drive an hour back because it's not like I'm gonna stand there for drive an hour, talk for 10 minutes, wait an hour while everyone plays their games, talk for 10 minutes, wait another hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's cool to watch, but it's different being there, playing the games, having all those experiences, playing with everyone you know, and oh, I'm not like I can't register in the event. Like, oh, I like say I spike my first pro quest. Like for like I do well. I win my first pro quest. Now I can't go to the rest of the pro quests. Like I love going to pro quests. I think they're so cool. And it just like sucks because I would like I would really want to go to more pro quests because that is like my competitive outlet is pro quests.
Yeah. That is a big deal, right? Is that a lot of people's primary competitive experience are these local qualifiers, whether they're pro quests or road to nationals, right? And I'm wondering if they're going to make a similar change to road to nationals for the next season.
We'll
So
see.
that
It's
could
a little
be
weird because you qualify with top 4 of Road to Nationals instead of just the top.
right. So I'm actually going to get to that in a second because I did predict correctly. I am on the other end. I am like a 7 or an 8. I think this is a great change. Um, and the reason being is because I think that a lot of people are um, focused on the invite aspect of a pro quest, right? I
Mhm.
think a lot of people think that there was already this implementation for the invite, and so why do we need to restrict it further? I think that might have been part of the reason for this change, but I think the primary reason for this change was actually the gold foil, uh, and it's interesting. And I guess what I'm trying to get at is I don't know if for many of the listeners here, if anybody has seen Dagan White's seasonal post about how many gold foils he's farmed during a pro quest season, but usually it's between 3 and 5. Uh, some people go out there and they win pretty much every event, every pro quest in their regional area, and they are just the local crusher of that region, right? And they are the person that's going to win with a pretty high certainty of that area, right? And so imagine being in a small town in some state, and you have your one pro quest that's close to you, and this guy from a couple hours away drives in. He's won every pro quest there for the past 2 years, and you have to play against him round one. How do you feel? Right, like you're now not gonna have a chance against this guy. He's gonna take the gold foil from your local store that you go to on a weekly basis, and sure, if you get second, you get the invite, but that's not the entire point of the tournament. Sometimes you want to win the tournament and you want to get the gold foil and you want to have that win under your belt. You want to get the LL points and whatnot for your hero, right? And I think that that's the main reason for this change is that there are players out there. I'm not like blaming the players. It's just that's something that I even considered doing was driving out or flying out for some of these pro quests, right? Um, there are some players that will travel large distances to these smaller area pro quests after they've already won a tournament just to farm the gold foils, just to go
Mhm.
get that gold foil, right? um, and I think that this change will allow for um, I guess the locals to have their local pro quest, right? And for it not to be necessarily as much of a a thing that people travel to and farm gold foils for, right? Because like people have said, the invite is already passed down. Like that wasn't really a concern when it came to people winning these things. It's more the biggest change this makes is to the gold foil and to the competition that you might see at these pro quest events, right? Um, so I think that's good for that reason. I think that, for example, for the last pro quest, I optionally chose not to go to further pro quests. I won my first pro quest, and then I chose not to go to the rest of them because I didn't see a reason for me to take chances from other people. Right? Why am I playing in this second pro quest and beating people when I don't have any real interest in the invite? I don't need the invite. I'm literally only playing just for the gold foil, and that's a real reason to play for it. But why am I knocking out people that might want to go to the Pro Tour Singapore just because I want to farm a gold foil, right? So I optionally chose not to go to further pro quests once I got my invite. I was there for I was there for the not the invite because I couldn't necessarily go, but I was there to win a pro quest, to play to play Enigma one last time, and get that experience for one time. I don't need to, you know, I don't need to play multiple pro quests in a row for that competitive experience. I guess personally, um,
Yeah.
and that's not for everybody, right? Not a lot of people just like to go these pro quests just to play with people, and I get that. This removes that opportunity, but I think that if you are good enough to win a pro quest, I don't think you need the practice from the other pro quests. I'm gonna put that out there. I think if you win a pro quest, sure you might just get lucky and you might feel like you need practice or whatever. But if you win a pro quest and you go to a second pro quest, you're there to win. You're there to take the gold foil, right? You're not there just to hang out with people. Like maybe you are. Maybe you want to spend $40-$50 just to hang out with people. But
Yeah, I mean,
um,
yeah.
but you're there to win, right? You're not there just to like play your meme deck for 40-50 bucks. So I think this change is good. I think this is going to prevent a bit of the gold foil farming that happens in this game and give locals their local PQs back, right? There'll be less traveling for these events now because of this. Because a lot of those crushers will maybe win their personal local one, and then now they don't need to travel further, or they can't travel for further ones. So
and that is like a pretty good point, because like the draw for me for winning like these pre-queues, like especially like I can't and haven't been able to make it to a lot of like the pro tours. It's like the big draw for me is like I want to like, my idea is like I always want to win my first gold foil. Like that is like my big dream. Is like I just want to win my first gold foil. Like I could care less about the like pro tour invite in 99% of situations, or probably like 75. Like if it's in LA, maybe that'd be cool to kind of do that. But it's like I would love just to win my first gold foil so I can like put it up somewhere and be like, this is something I've accomplished. This is something I've done. So that's a very good point. And I think you have a really good argument.
yeah, and I do think that there are people this will affect negatively, that they do win, but they just want to go play, right? Maybe they do want to bring their meme deck to the next one and just hang out with people. Because I know like in our area we're probably gonna have, I think last season we had 6 or 7 PQs in like the Denver, Colorado Springs area. And so
Oh my god.
it was something crazy like that. And
Yeah,
so it would suck that if you won your first one and you just kind of wanted to go hang out with people and spend money to go play, and not necessarily for the gold foil, but just to go play and have fun. It does suck that you lose that experience, but you can still play at armories. You don't get the same quality of experience, but you play with the same people. You get to play your deck, and you don't have to take spots from somebody else. You're not taking spots from somebody else, but you're adding competition to the pool that didn't need to be there, right? When you do that. So this will affect some people negatively, but I think it's an overall positive change. Is my take on it, and I like the change because of that.
Okay.
But I'm expecting to take some flack for it, and potentially be wrong, and maybe it's not even a good change. But that's my opinion of it. I'll put that out there.
We'll see. There's a lot of people with a lot of different opinions. I don't think there's like a correct opinion either. I don't think it's like a right and a wrong. I think it's just like, oh, this affects some people one way and this affects other people other ways.
I think there is a right and a wrong, but I think it's going to be hard to evaluate. I think the way you evaluate right and wrong is just overall people's enjoyment of the game, right?
That's fair.
Like if people can't play the game, that's not good. If the people can't play the game, that they want to play it. But the change can, it can allow some people to play the game and prevent other people from playing the game. So it's like it's hard to evaluate. But that is the main thing you want to have happen, is you want people to play and enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next thing to talk about was I just wanted to mention a short thing from the latest. I think it's called Dev Touch, if I remember correctly. The name of the article.
Dev Talk.
It's not a Dev Talk, right?
The article.
The article, yeah. It is, yeah, Dev Touch for KO Armed and Dangerous. I thought it was really cool. First of all, just that article in general. I highly recommend looking into it. Basically, they talk about heavy hitters and how the team worked to playtest KO in both constructed and limited, and how KO started without the might token creation, and they basically toyed around with his health and the might token creation to try to find a balance between classic constructed power level and limited power level. And I thought it was a really interesting read. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I thought it was really fun that they call the new KO Cheeto. I just thought that was fun. Now I'm gonna call him Cheeto for the rest of the time.
I just think it was so funny when like I was listening to the Dev Talk, and they're like, I don't know where everyone's calling this new KO RKO. It's obviously Cheeto. Like,
okay, so I didn't realize they brought it up in the Dev Talk because I didn't watch that one. But yeah, I love Cheeto.
It was just really funny because like it felt like they're like, this isn't what we expected at all. Like we expected him to be called this, but everyone's calling him this. Like, yeah, it was just funny to me.
I gotta say, I'm glad they're leaning into like the nicknames for heroes because I know
Mhm.
there was some talk about them not liking Mario or Slippy for the Arachnes, but they're leaning into Cheeto for this new KO, and I like that.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah, now we have some spoilers to talk about.
Now we're on to the big information. The
Big
important
information.
stuff. Pro Tour, who cares about the Pro Tour? What we care about is Guardian Mastery Pack spoilers.
Hell yeah. um, let's start with we actually got these spoiled right after our last podcast was recorded. We got some really cool reprints, some alt art reprints revealed for the Living Legend Armory decks for Viserai and Prism. We actually also have the entire deck lists revealed, so we can go over that too.
Oh yeah.
But first, some insane alt arts for
Oh, they're
Reaping
so
Blade,
beautiful.
Spellbound Creepers, Phantasmal Footsteps, and Luminaris. And they are all gorgeous. They're amazing.
Mhm.
I think that my favorite is Luminaris. I think that's the coolest art for me. What about you?
I don't know. Like, it's either got to be Reaping Blade or Phantasmal Footsteps. Like,
Yeah, Footsteps was a
they're
cool
just
deck.
all so good, though.
They're so good.
And like, I love that the alt art is them wearing it. It is Viserai wearing the boots of Spellbound Creepers. It is Prism wearing the Phantasmal Footsteps. It is like, it's just so cool. Like,
Yeah,
or like Luminaris is so cool because it's just like you have Solana in the background with the fall trees as with a golden glow, and you have the angel bringing it down. And like, I don't know, I just like how Reaping Blade pops. Like, there's nothing too
yeah,
crazy about it, but it just really pops, and it's
it's
like
really
says,
cool.
"I'm here." It's the art's so cool. If you haven't seen it, you need to see these like cool promo Marvel arts.
Yeah, they are really nice. They are also really expensive. We also got the pricing of them announced, and it's $275 for all four of them, which isn't that bad considering two of them are legendaries, but
Yeah.
still not cheap for these alt arts. Um, we did also, I think it was maybe yesterday, we got the entire armory decks announced, the deck lists.
Oh yeah.
So we already
Well,
had the what was that?
are they selling them at the San Diego?
I think San Diego Comic Con is when they come
Isn't
out,
that
right?
happening? Like right now?
Oh, it might be. Um, it says released. Yeah, so I guess yesterday was when it was released, or maybe that's when the list was released. But anyway, um, yeah, they are out. I think they're $60 armory decks, and it looks like it's mostly because they have a lot of majestics in them, a lot of reprinted majestics. So I'm looking at the
Hmm.
Prism list right now. Prism's equipment suite is Luminaris, Halo of Luminalight, which is the new headpiece that they announced at Pro Tour London, or spoiled at Pro Tour London. The chest piece is Hardened Crossstrap, which is a new alt art version of it, and also printed as a majestic, which I thought was kind of odd. Um, and then Calming Gesture and Mage Master boots for the equipment, rest of the equipment. And then some notable reprinted majestics in here are Celestial Cataclysm, Herald of Erudition, Soul Shield, Arclight Sentinel, and Genesis. Oh, sorry, Genesis and Shimmers of Silver. Um, and then the Armory
That's
Deck
pretty good.
Viserai,
Armory
the
deck.
equipment is the new Helm of the Arknight.
Isn't that just a Temper 2 helmet?
Yes, it's just
I'll
number
add
two.
that to the notes. I have a little rant later.
Oh, all right. I want to hear it right after I'm done with the list. Bloodsheath Skeleton for the chest piece, Vexing Cool Hand, and that's it for the notable equipment, really. And then the Majestics in the deck are Arknight Ascendancy, Mordred Tide, Revel in Runeblood, Sonata Arcanix, Ninth Blade of the Blood Oath, Become the Arknight, and Tome of the Arknight. So a lot of reprinted Majestics that I did not quite expect to get reprinted like this, which somewhat makes sense for the $60 price tag, but somewhat also doesn't. I think $40
I'm
would have been fine, but
I think it's cool and interesting because it does imply that like this is a living legend deck. You have to be powerful to be in this. So to give this out as like these high level majestics, I think is like cool. I didn't expect it, but I'm happy because like you can buy this living legend deck, sit down at your living legend tournament and actually win. Where it's like the army deck can be much lower level power because it's not living legend. These ones need to be able to be higher level. They need to be able to actually do stuff to win.
Yeah, I don't know about winning any LL tournaments with these armory decks, but it starting with some of these reprints from older sets is good.
Well,
Because
I think it's a good first step at least.
yeah,
It's not like you're getting like a few majestics and you have to buy everything. It's like even giving you like half the puzzle, especially in a expensive game like this. It's such a I think it's such a big win to see all those majestics like this.
I did find it funny that someone pointed out that the Vizoride deck is actually not Living Legend legal. You can't play this deck in Living Legend because there are 3 copies of Deadwood Dirge in there, and that is a restricted card. So you actually can't take this to a Living Legend event and
Oh,
play
oh, I didn't know that.
it.
That's well,
So it's funny that it's not legal, but I mean it's not a big deal. You take the 2 Dirges out and throw anything in there.
yeah. Read the runes, like,
Yeah.
and then you're pretty much doing the same thing because you're trying to do more OTK. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean you have Bloodsheath Skeleton in there.
Yeah. So read the runes still pretty good in that.
Yeah. Yep. But so let's hear your Helm of the Arc Knight rant.
Oh no. It's a little bit later. It's a little bit later.
Okay,
It's in the
later.
spoilers. I'm gonna assume
Uh,
I feel like most people can assume which spoiler it's gonna be.
I actually am blanking, so I don't know. But
Okay.
I'm excited to see what ends up happening.
But
What ends up being about.
before we get into big spoilers, they do have a World Tour Shizuzoki like promo card, and it's an alt art pummel. That's sick. That's so cool.
A really cool pummel. It looks
It's
like
so
it's
cool.
Arachne getting pummeled by I don't know what that type of hammer is called.
I don't know if it's a Arachne.
It might not be
It's
Arachne.
it's I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of like a spirit, I would assume, in Japanese culture.
Amazing art. I I,
It is
I don't even
amazing. It's
play
so good.
a deck that uses pummel, but I need that pummel.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
it is so cool. I want that so bad. I play a lot of pummel, so like I could definitely use it.
Yeah. Wait, you haven't splurged on your cold full of pummels yet?
No, I don't need that. I don't need that.
um, how about you go over? I'm just gonna let you read out all the Guardian spoilers. I think it's more fun for you to read these out.
Okay. So first we have a bunch of promo cards, which first we have Renounce Grandeur, which is a red 3 cost, 3 block, 7 attack. And it's a Guardian action attack. If the defending hero controls an aura token, this gets +1. One that deals 4 more damage to a hero, they can't create aura tokens during their next turn. That is pretty good because it's choke slam, but it's a 3 for
Oh,
7 for certain decks where it's like, oh, I build auras, I turn up like it's like choke slam like against like Azalea, where choke slam's like, oh, you want to buff your arrow to 13, but since choke slam dealt 4 more damage, you can only throw your arrow for 5. Your buffs don't mean anything.
I
While
didn't make
this
that
one
connection.
is like against Guardians like Valdemir's, this goes insane. Like seismic
Yep.
surges all over the place. And then you smack them, you can't make seismic surges. It turns off your hero ability. But also going to Vincent, hitting Vincent, you can't make rune champs. You like going to like any of the rune blades, hitting them, they can't make rune chants. or going even into like wizard when or like uh I don't know why, but I'm going into why am I blanking on her name? It's
Pallades?
the Verdance. Even in the Pallades, like but like going into Verdance where she like puts the tree down so she can get huge arcane damage down. Like you
Also,
can play this to stop it and like
this does say aura tokens, so I don't think it would have stopped Millennium Tree.
oh, you're right. Never mind. Ignore me. That one's not as good. But it is super cool because it is just a 3 for 8 in the correct deck. It
Yeah.
is not only a relevant on hit, but it is a base 3 for 8. It's a really cool card. So out of all the cards that have been spoiled, some of the most exciting cards to me are these like promo cards
Yeah.
because I'm like, that's really cool. And I think it's like I can tell that this Guardian Mastery Pack, a lot of these cards are meant to be against Guardians. Like, and we already saw a little bit of that with some stuff that's spoiled or like way earlier this year. But a lot of these cards are like, okay, I'm only gonna play that into Guardian. Like, okay, I'm gonna play this in the Guardian. Oh, I might play this into Illusionist. But like, it's still really cool to like see this kind of card and see these like more common cards because like Guardian's been the rate heroes like for a long time and they've been falling behind more and more on rate. So to give them an option to just be a 2 card 8 and do those really tall things are really cool.
I just noticed something interesting.
Hmm.
All of the Mastery Pack Guardian cards on the bottom right say 2024.
That's when they were printed.
That's when they were printed.
Yeah, because this set was supposed to come out early this year.
What's the latest set? Hunted? No, it's High Seas. High Seas.
Yeah.
This
Well,
those
this is
also would
supposed
say 2024, or those would say 2024.
you I think you want to look at Hunted because this is supposed to come out around the same time as Hunted. Because if we pulled up,
I just didn't realize that was the printing date.
I'm pretty
No,
sure
no.
it's the
See, High
printing.
Seas says 2025.
Well, High Seas was printed way after this.
Oh, sorry, you're right. You're right. Hunted. Hunted is the one. Yeah, I mixed them up. Hunted is the one that came out. See what you're saying.
Oh, my screen's not big enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
Hunted
right.
says 2024.
So it's when
Is
they
the
were
printing date.
printed. Interesting. Okay. Never mind. Ignore me then. Something I
But
did want to point out about this card is that I have a feeling that it was printed as intended. I mean, it is good against other heroes, but it looks like pure Enigma hate to me.
you
Like
know
this,
how much of this set is Enigma hate?
I was gonna
And you
wait
know
until the next
how
card.
much you know how much it hurts that like we got all this after she leaves.
Yeah,
Ugh, I
I
was
I feel like Guardian would have had a chance against Enigma, like actually a decent chance with a lot of this Enigma hate that we're gonna see here.
I don't know about a decent chance. It probably would have made a 0% matchup a 20% matchup, but I think Victor would have had a very decent chance.
That's fair. That's fair.
But do you have any extra comments on Renounced Grandeur?
No, I thought that was really cool. I really like your comparison to Chokeslam. I didn't see that before, and the fact that it can be a 3 for 8 a lot of times, just being above rate against some heroes is pretty cool. I think this also looks like a very strong Valda card once because it's looking like she's gonna get. We'll get into it later. Looks like she's gonna be having a lot more consistency when it comes to making 3 seismic surges. Um,
Yeah.
and so this all the 3 attack cards are getting a little bit better for her, and that makes this a little bit better. So I thought it was a really cool card. I already thought it was pretty good, but yeah, you made me think. You made me way higher on this card than I originally was.
Yeah. The next card is a red 3 cost, 3 block, 7 attack. So a similar format to the last one. And it says if you have a card in your arsenal, this gets +1. In Crush, when this deals 4 or more damage to a hero, put all cards in all arsenals on the bottom of their owner's decks.
Interesting card.
I like this one a lot too. Like, I think it's so cool because it's easier to trigger the 3 for 8. It's an easier trigger on the value card. But one of Guardian's biggest weakness is I arsenaled a card, it's stuck. I can't get it out. Either the opponent's applying too much pressure, so I can't get it out, or it's something where it's like, oh, I put in a pulverize thinking I was gonna get into a situation where this is gonna be relevant, and it was never relevant again, or something like it's too expensive or it's never relevant. And or you draw a blue and you arsenal your blue. Like 9 times out of 10, you arsenal a blue, you're never playing that card. Blues are terrible to arsenal and Guardian. So this card is really cool because it allows you to be a little more loose with your arsenal. It allows Guardians to look at their hand, see a blue, and risk it with a Macho Grande. Like, oh, I can't arsenal it. It's a blue. It doesn't matter. But, oh, it's Macho Grande. That's still relevant blue. But it's not necessarily the best blue. But I have Fault Line in my deck. So I could put this in my arsenal and throw Fault Line for 8, and the opponent has to block more, and especially in like more aggressive matchups or other matchups. And like the other thing you could do is you can throw like Pummel in your arsenal, and if the opponent blocks out, then you just don't pummel and you don't lose your arsenal. But if the opponent doesn't block at all, you turn it into a different type of disruption, which is discard from hand. It's not necessarily as strong that way, but it's just allows for flexibility. It allows Guardians to take more risk in setting arsenals, or when they do take the risk from beforehand, it allows me to empty my arsenal if worst case scenario happens. And even if it's just a 3 for 8, no on hit text because the opponent doesn't have an arsenal, but its text is I get to get rid of my arsenal, especially in an aggressive matchup, can be so freeing. I actually really like this card. I don't know if it's gonna make it in a competitive list, but I wouldn't be surprised personally. I really like this card.
So I think this card is going to be a 3 of in a specific new Guardian hero, Pallades, because you run a lot of instants, and so you can wait for the trigger to play out your arsenal.
Yeah,
and not get the negative effect for it. So I think
I've been thinking of like instant combos, like, oh, if you have Sigil of Solace, you hit in the resolution step, you play instant, or the new one that creates 3 sides. I've been thinking about this. Like, Fault Line has been the card I've been most excited for. So, like, I've been thinking of all the instant stuff. It's cool.
I think Pallades is going to love this card because you put confidence on this, and now it's an 8 dominate, and then you don't even get the downside of losing your own arsenal because you just play an instant out of your arsenal on the trigger. Slam dunk for me.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's so cool. This is probably the card that I am not probably. It's one of the cards I'm most excited for in this set, and it's probably a rare. Like,
do you think these are all rares?
I assume so.
So the reason that I question that is because if we look at some of the later Majestics, I feel like these are Majestic level cards. I could be wrong.
These are more Majestic level than a few of the Majestics we got spoiled. I could agree with you there.
But I mean, they could be rares. I don't know what these promos are for. I don't know how you get these, but
are they buy a box promo? I honestly don't know.
Oh, that's true, wasn't it? I think someone posted a buy, but I don't know if I trust that link though. It says something like if you spend $100, you get a non-foil, like hunted promo, like the trot along and stuff. I didn't really believe that graphic that I saw, but we'll see. We'll see how you get these.
Right. The next one is Hostile Encouragement, which is a 3 for 8.
Sorry, Hostile
Encouragement. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. A 3 for 8 that blocks 3. Already insane value. This is the Guardian Swing Big. And it says, when this attacks a hero, they draw a card. Crush. When this deals 4 more damage to a hero, they discard a card.
I want to hear your thoughts on this from a Valda angle.
I was going to say, it's good in Valda.
Okay. Do you think it's great in Valda, or do you think it's just good in Valda?
That's such a good question, because you're gonna easily be able to throw this for free in some situations. So it's a free 0 for 8. And the nice thing is it allows you to generate like Seismic Surge and set up for your next turn on a more defensive hand. So I could block 9, swing 8, and generate a seismic surge for my next turn.
So what happens when your opponent puts a 3 block and a 2 block equipment in front of it? Do you think that you're unhappy with that as Valda, or do you think that it's okay because you made your 3rd seismic surge a lot of the times?
I think this is where you're going to have to find the value and if this is actually worth it to put in a deck, because the value of it is you're setting up for your next turn by being aggressive at good rate. The downside of it is you're letting your opponent filter. You are letting them cycle cards, and they could have had a dud hand that you just gave a blue to, and now this one random red that they can with.
Well,
It is.
I'm more asking if you're concerned about them easily stopping the crush effect and just getting a card.
Oh, well, if they're stopping the crush effect, I think normally, like, they have to invest too much where the crush, like, the draw card doesn't really matter. Like, and if you play this into Guardian, like, they can't play 5-card hands. Like, oh no, they drew an extra card. You play this into Ninja, they blew up all their equipment to keep a 5-card hand. Oh no. Like, it is, like, a very neutral, like, okay, you wanted to keep your 5-card hand and lost all your equipment. Like, that's a benefit for me. My more relevant crush later, and this is the other thing, like, this is not a super relevant crush. Like, discard's a pretty relevant, but it's not super relevant. It's not like Spinal Crush. It's not like, well, I guess like Crippling Crush, you can't use in Baldo, but like, it's not like Spinal. It's not like, what's another crush effect? Like Chokeslam. Like, I think Chokeslam generally is a lot more powerful when you use it. This is generically better, but it's somewhere it's like, if you want to waste your equipment to stop that, that's cool. If you're a Guardian player, like, sure, they blocked it out. What are you going to do with your 5-card hand? Like,
yeah.
Oh no, you're going to pummel CNC? Like, I think you are already going to do that. Like, I don't think I had an effect on that. If anything, I gave you the pummel and you just, so I don't feel bad. But, but it's like, I think it's a pretty neutral card, and it's like I could see it not making the list, but I can see it making the list just for the fact that it's a 3 for 8.
Yeah. So like when I first saw this card, my thought was that it seemed kind of insane for Valda, and the reason being is that I think that you already play in your list 6 emboldens and 3 pummels, which will increase the power on this card and make it tougher to block. I think that you're never throwing this if it doesn't have dominate, right?
Yeah.
But I think you might also just not throw this unless its power has been buffed too. On top of that, like if you have an emboldened in the previous turn, or if you have a pummel at the ready, right? I think my thought is that this probably only gets played when you're able to make it more than 8. And I think that my assumption is that you're going to have more ways to do that with the new card, with more cards that are going to get spoiled later on. I think my assumption is you're going to have better auras, or you might play more power increasing auras that also draw cards or something like that, right? Is my theory. And that this card is not great if you're only throwing it for 8, but it is phenomenal if you're throwing it for 10, 12.
Yeah, it is such an interesting card because it, like, the flesh and blood math, it's like it hits that. It's what you're aiming for. It is that 3 for 8. It gives you that math. And it has on-hit discard, like crush discard. But holy moly. It presents such an awkward question. And I think that's why it's like Valda's going to run this, but I can't see any other Guardians running.
Yeah,
and I think
any other Guardians running this.
I think that's so interesting that it does this question. And it's so easy in Valda to throw this for free too. Like, oh, I created 3 seismic surge. Like on the defensive, or like whatever. I created 3 seismic surge that instant. Or like the turn before, I played Fault Line. Played 3 seismic surge from my arsenal where I threw 8, lost no arsenal, and then arsenal this, and then I can block with my entire hand and still throw 8 dominate on hit discard, crush effect discard. It just seems so strong. Like, it seems so cool. And I'm like, it's like the power and the ceiling of this card is insane. But the floor of this card is also insane. Like,
I mean, at least it blocks 3. So that's something.
Yeah, it does block 3. And it's like, But like my fear is like, oh, this is unplayable hand. I threw 8 for free at you, and you're like, oh, I went from throwing 4 damage to throwing 20 damage because I'm a ninja and I just got my starter. Oh, sweet. Sure, I don't mind losing a card that I can't use any. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was planning on pushing back a little bit on your thought of, oh, you need your ninja to give me all your equipment to get this 5 card hand. That's not a big deal. I don't know about that one. I think the problem is a lot of decks can scale. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for? They can scale larger than a card by having that 5th or 6th card, right? And
Yeah.
so by them just like shoving armor in front of it, I guess they have to give you a card anyway. They have to block with a card. But regardless, getting to filter a card and then blocking the card and equipment to like have their keep their hand and block with a card of choice, I think is pretty good. Like you're gonna end up taking a lot of damage the following turn.
Well, and that's why I'm saying like filtering's pretty bad. But the thing
Yeah.
with Guardian is it's always a game, especially when you're throwing Dominate. It's always a game of when am I going to steal your equipment? When are you giving it up? And if I
That's
throw
true.
this early and you give up your equipment early, it just makes my late game stronger. And it makes it when I get my relevant crush effect, it makes my relevant crush effect much more effective. And it's a lot less calculating on my end. Whereas like I look at Spinal and I'm like, is it worth arsenaling Spinal? Is it worth throwing Spinal? Is it worth pitch stacking Spinal? A lot of the times I will account for their equipment. I'll look at their equipment. I'll be like, okay, they have this equipment left. They have this equipment left. If I go blown out or if they block this way with this equipment, I just lose. So I have to watch out for their equipment. But to throw this at them and then them block with their equipment, all of a sudden, like I draw Spinal, I'm like, I'm in. Like they could have a flick flack. They could have this, that, or another thing. I'm in. I am taking their turn. And
Yeah.
then I can start the game rolling. And that's where it's like, yeah, it's gonna suck for a turn, but if I can buy equipment from you with this card, it lets my game get stronger. It's really weird. It's a it's like a bait card in a way where I'm trying to get you to block more. Because
I
one,
see.
like, and the other thing, it's a 3 for 8. The value is insane. And it's drawing cards, it has unhit discard, the opponent has to block or lose a card. It is also a really good mill card. Guardian's really good at milling their opponents and getting them to get rid of cards. So this is forcing your opponent to go through their deck faster, to block to keep cards, to like, or just eat it and lose a card. Like you net, like, even though I threw 8 power, we still lost 1 card each. And that's like the very powerful thing about this card is that it is like a mill card that doesn't look like a mill card. It's really interesting. There's so much like counterplay and thought between like with this card, and that's why I'm like, it could be really bad because it makes your opponent more consistent, but it could be really good because like I'm in a mill match and because I got this on hit earlier, I got one more card out of their deck they normally would, or like I forced them to block out this, which is 2 cards. Say it doesn't even have dominate. They block with 2 cards and an armor piece. Not only am I up on card quantity because they blocked, but I took an armor piece, which makes my threats later game much more relevant. It's That's like what makes this card so interesting and so cool. And I want to play with it because like I want to understand how good it actually is. Because the upsides are pretty good. Like I took their equipment. Oh, like I like just got free damage because they net zeroed on their hand. There's no real on hit. This, that, or another. It's like it's really interesting to me, and it's a really cool card. And it's just a 3 for 8. It's just such good value, and that's why I love a lot of these like promo cards. Is they're just 3 for 8s with a bunch of different words, and like it's cool because like Guardian way back when like I started, it felt like that class where it's like, oh, everyone's eking out for that extra value, and it's like, well, I got that extra value because I used Tunic, and now my Chokeslam's free this turn. Like I had one turn that was a little off, a little offensive, but I threw Anathos for 6, a 2-card 6. But the next turn, my Chokeslam's 8. It's a 2-card 8. And these cards, without like, this is a different way to approach that 2-card 8 value. And it's I like these cards a lot because it feels like we're going a different path with Guardian. Like they feel very different than what Guardian's done before. But at the same time, it's still reaching the same goal of feeling like a Guardian card and playing in the Guardian style. I really, really like those 3 cards. But are they going to be in meta decks? I can't tell you.
Yeah.
I could see them
Good
being
question.
like
Or
some
good
of
point.
the. Yeah, I could see them cycling in and out depending on the meta.
Yeah.
The next one is a blue generic block card that blocks 3. One thing I have to say, I don't know what the ruling's going to be on this card because it is obviously a misprint where it says generic.
Yeah, what's this card called?
It's called Gesture of Goodwill. Sorry. It is a blue generic block card, blocks 3, Gesture of Goodwill, and it has Protect. You may defend any hero attacked by an opponent with it. One, this protects another hero. They may give you a token they control.
UPF card.
Is a UPF card. And that's why I'm like, luckily, this is the one that was misprinted. Like,
Yeah.
and if anything, like that's a cool generic in UPF. We're like, oh, like more people can protect over each other. But I'll be interested to see what they say on that. To say, oh, it is a generic just with a funny border, or if it's
Yeah.
like it's a Guardian card.
It's interesting too because there wouldn't be much of a question if they didn't put the Guardian border on it, because then it'd be like, oh yeah, so now everybody can play a protect card in their deck in UPF, but
I
they
don't
put the
think
Guardian
anyone would
border
have.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the Guardian border, it's like this is what I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a Guardian card, but Guardian and generic both start with G. And I think it was like I'm assuming the last card in the set before this one was a Guardian card or a generic card, and they just copied some text and printing or something funny like that.
yeah, yeah. Just a small mistake. I mean, thankfully, like you said, it's a UPF card, but yeah, definitely was supposed to be Guardian.
Yeah, it's a cool UPF card. I think it's really cool. Like if you do pit fight or not pit, like do the crack shuffle play. Yeah, crack shuffle play pit fight. That's a super cool card. Like especially with how much seismic surge is in this set. Like I could have 2 seismic surge and I'm trying to throw hostile encouragement as Volda, and I could go and like, hey Cody, I'll block for you this turn, but I need your seismic surge.
I
And
see.
you're
I
like,
see.
and then so I block with for you, so you can throw your attack, and then you give me your seismic surge, and then I can still throw my attack. It's cool. It like adds a little bit of like politicking and like UPF. It's cool in that way. I like it.
Remind me, is there any kind of like 2v2 mode? There isn't, right?
And crack shuffle play, yeah, you or 2v2. I've played some like fan made 2v2. I've played what
Yeah.
is like
Because that could be
two-headed giant
cool,
before.
right? It's like
Yeah.
if there's like a 2v2 mode where one of you is, I guess you don't have to be a guardian, but one of you has these protect cards in there, and your opponent can like give you, or sorry, your teammate can give you a token that your class normally wouldn't be able to have, but is insane for your class, like maybe like an agility for guardian or something, or
Oh
like
yeah.
maybe an extra vigor token that is exactly what you need to, I don't know, get whatever you need to, or like a confidence token. Like there's some interesting things if there was like a 2v2 mode in terms of working together to pass tokens over to then have crazy turns. I think it's kind of a fun concept to think about, but I don't think that
Yeah.
exists outside of, like you said, the fan made modes.
Maybe we could make a balanced mode, but
Maybe.
we are going fast on time, so I'll go a little bit faster through these.
Yeah.
So the next one is Clash of Bravado. It is a yellow, 4 cost, 3 block, 7 attack, guardian attack action. One, this defends. Clash with the attacking hero. The winner destroys an aura that the other hero controls. That's sick. That's so cool. I wish I had this when I was Enigma. This is super cool on the Prism. This is an illusionist hate card, and I've been waiting for it my entire life. This is a cool card. It's also yellow, so I can discard it to library because fuck library. No one likes that card. Get that out of here.
This is the card that made me think maybe Guardian would have had a chance against Enigma with these cards.
Yeah.
This is the one, because this kills Mirror Guy, right?
Yeah, I can just. Yeah, I just destroy Mirror Guy. Like you
Yeah.
attack with a spectral shield. I block 3, reveal whatever, And I'm like, okay, I destroy Mirror Guy. Now I can attack you in the face and not have to worry about it. The only problem is I can't just search this up whenever you're attacking with Mirror Guy. I just have to natural draw it, and that's why I'm like, it makes it a 0% matchup.
I see.
Let's go. That's yeah. It
That's
might have
fair.
been a little bit better than that, but anyways, it's an illusionist hate card. Praise the Lord. We finally got one as a guardian. And I'm so happy with how they approach it. It doesn't feel like we're breaking the guardian like mold. Like I was like, how do you hate on illusionists without breaking the mold? That's always a question I ask, and it's cool because this definitely feels like it.
How do you make illusionists hate without it costing 3 cards? It's tough, right?
Yeah, or costing my entire turn. Like
I was
just
remembering
being
that
able to.
I can't remember what that one card was. It was an expansion slot card that was like, if you have some number of seismic it's like an X cost, and it's based on seismic surges if you can repeat it or something like that.
Oh yeah, it's 1x and destroy an aura that cost X. And you may repeat this if you have a for each seismic surge you control, and you
Yeah,
destroy it like that.
something like that. Yeah, so it's very expensive for what it did.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I want to destroy Mirror Guy. I have to keep a 3-card hand. Like,
Right. Yeah.
what's the point at that point? It's not like I can attack you after anyways.
I can only imagine though if this set came out before Enigma LL'd, and we would see so many Phantasmacosms revealed off the Clash and not kill the Mirror Guy.
The Clash cards. I'm happy to see that card specifically, but Clash cards like are good for Victor. But
Yeah.
in other Guardians, like it's just so anxious whenever I have to clash. Because like
You run
I
a lot
can
of
reveal one of my
non-power.
non-attacks.
Yeah.
Oh, I can reveal like I was playing Victor once and I lost 5 clashes in a row to a dash IO. Like that was insane. Like
Yeah.
it's not like it can't happen. And that's why I'm like, I like it a lot as a mechanic. And I think I think Clash of Bravado is a really, 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 really good card because it does the trigger, you get a clash, and if you don't miss against an illusionist, you still pop. Like I still destroy it. I'm still advancing my game
Oh, I
plan
didn't
with
think about
maybe
that.
we're
The 7
still
power.
gaining some benefit. But like the other clash cards, like, okay, I lost, you destroyed a seismic surge. I'm playing defensive anyways, who cares? Like, that's whatever. But the other clash cards, which we'll get to later, it's like, man, like playing this is a real disaster sometimes. But anyways, we'll get to it later. So we have Break Stature, which is a yellow, 5 cost, 3 block, 8 attack. One that deals 4 or more
Crush.
damage to a hero, crush.
Yeah.
Destroy an aura token they control. They can't create auras with that token's name until the end of their next turn. It is the majestic version of Renounce Grandeur, except you can choose non-tokens auras. But it also only applies to like when this one more damage to a hero, they can't create aura tokens.
That tokens.
Yeah, it also applies to non-tokens.
Yes.
And this is another illusionist hate card because it's yellow. So I gain the advantage. You took an off turn. I can throw 8, destroy one of your auras, one of your spectral auras, the one that gets rid of Phantasm. And then I can say you can't play that next turn. It is an illusionist hate card. It's good in a prism. Outside of that, it's okay.
Well, so it does say or a token, right? So you couldn't destroy
Oh, you're right.
Passing Mirage. Yeah. So the main benefit I saw my initial
You're right,
thought when I
never
saw
mind.
this card was Rune Chance, right? You play this against, Viserai and LL or something, and now they have, like, if this says Dominate or something and they can't block this, they can't make Rune Chance next turn, right? Which is a big deal. Basically makes them pause for another turn if they need to. But it's mainly Rune Chance was the only one I could really think of. That Seismic Surges could be another one. What else? I guess like a confidence token against Pleiades. I don't think what else you'd want to use this for.
So from what I can tell, it's just a worse Renounce Grandeur.
I mean, the fact that they can't make any the next turn makes it interesting, right? Fealty. I'm looking up the aura tokens now.
I mean, Renounce Grandeur has the same crush effect.
Is it? Am I crazy? They can't make tokens with that name.
Well, if
They
it
just can't create aura
feels,
tokens. Oh,
oh yeah,
so it's even better because they can't create any aura tokens.
that like so weird. I think it's like, and
Huh.
that's why it's like it's a yellow, so it's something that's kind of like this one feels generically more hateful because it's a yellow card, so into Prism, and it's an orangeness hate card, but it doesn't take Spectral Shields because you destroy them on the way in. But you can hit Runeblade as well. It's like a dual hate card. You can hit Rune, but you can also hit Illusionist with this. It's like I can hit both the classes I'm weak to in a meta where they're the best two decks. While it feels like Renounced Grandeur is more against the Runeblade specifically, although it's still a popper.
Yeah, I guess it is just a worse version of Renounced Grand. I mean, the one thing to take note of is that it's always 8 versus sometimes being 8, but then you don't have an aura token to destroy, so it's like,
Yeah, that's.
yeah, it's weird.
I
It
mean, it's
costs
yellow.
2
That's like
more.
the benefit is it's yellow.
Okay, I see. It costs 2 more. It's yellow. You're right. Yeah, it's kind of bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta make this. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was like, next one. I've got to make this quick, but I
Okay.
have a mini rant about this. The
Okay.
next one is Base of the Mountain, which is the shoes, the legs that got spoiled. And
Yeah.
like, hey, like it was spoiled or like it was teased. They're like, look at these shoes. What do you think they do? And I'm like, Guardian's finally getting shoes. Guardian doesn't have any good shoes. Our shoes give the opponent go again when we block. I'm so excited. We're finally getting shoes. And I'm like, and like when we're talking about the helmet earlier, I'm like, every class has such like full equipment suite of like legendaries and majestic. Guardian don't have a majestic helmet. We don't have a legendary helmet. We don't have shoes. We don't have legendary shoes. Like this is it. We're finally getting our legendary boots. I got myself so hyped, so excited. I like was waiting and waiting and waiting, and I stayed up. I saw get spoiled, and my dreams were crushed. Not only are they not Guardian shoes, but they're Guardian hate shoes. They get around specifically Guardian Dominate, and I was so heartbroken. Oh. We have one more legendary that's going to be revealed at some point, but I am 95% sure it's Tectonic Plating, and I'm going to anyways, the shoes, Base of the Mountain, are generic leg equipment with star defense. 1 this defense, banish any number of action cards from your hand, then add them to the chain link as a defending card. This card's defense is equal to the number of action cards on the active chain link. It gets around Dominate. Like, oh, I threw Okanold. Okay, I'll block with my shoes and my cards from my hand anyways.
So, sorry, the reason that I'm distracted, I'm looking up how this works with Dominate and Overpower.
So Overpower, you can still only defend with 1 action card, so it doesn't really apply to Overpower very well because you'd still banish an action card from hand and then just add it to the chain link.
That's
This
the
has been a
thing that
question
I'm
that's
checking because maybe this is old release notes. I'm looking at the Dynasty release notes for Overpower.
well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have asked the same question,
Right.
and it is, and I know a lot of Marlin players were like, "Why would they do this to Marlin?" And then they went notes, and they're like, "Oh, Marlin's fine," because Overpower still applies to action cards.
They must have changed it because the Dynasty release notes specifically say Overpower does not prevent additional action cards being added as defending cards through effects. For example, Amulet of Haven Call. So that must have changed over time then. Because that one specifically says you can do it. Oh, wait, that's right. They had a Backlight Oracle defending update.
Because was it when they came out with the mechanologist?
Yeah, this is after Dynasty release notes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
but it's like
Yeah, they
Yeah,
updated anti-defend effects. Yeah.
so this is very, very specifically Guardian hate card. And it made me so sad because I'm like, I'm so ready to get some Guardian boots. This is going to be so cool. And I wasn't even that upset when I first saw them because when I first saw them, I didn't even read generic. I like just assumed they were Guardian boots. So I'm like, okay, that makes the Guardian mirror a little more interesting, but like not what I expected. And then I saw someone like, oh, da 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 da, they're generic. And I was like, no way. I'm like, I was a little heartbroken. And the reason I was like, well, Rune Blades get a temper 2 head. They also get a block 2 head and discard, or the opponent discards, you draw a card, you block with a non attack and an attack. And Guardians still don't have legendary boots or a legendary helmet. The Guardian helmet is Blade or Battle Worn 1. I may pay 1 to gain 1 intellect, which is really cool, but there's no way to gain action points in Guardian like that. Anyways, my little side rant over. I was pretty heartbroken to see it was generic Guardian hate.
Yeah,
And considering the other 2 Majestics are like, oh, it's like illusionist hate. Like, okay. And then to see Guardian just get just like shafted from behind when we barely have gotten anything yet, I was upset. I was like, what?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, Back Alley Oracle number 10 did update it so that Dominate, this works against. Overpower, it does not work against. Confidence, though. How does confidence read again? At the start of your turn, destroy this. The next attack card you play this turn cannot be defended by more than 2 non-block cards. So that should work the same as Overpower then, right? You also could not use this on. You can technically use it on Confidence. You can block with this and 1 card, but you can't block with this and 2 cards because Confidence prevents that.
Yeah. it's I was pretty disappointed because it only attacks Guardian. Like it only attacks Guardian. Like
it's only Dominate though too.
Oh no.
So if your Guardian doesn't dominate, you don't care about this card. Is what I'm getting at.
This is a Betsy buff right here.
It's a Betsy buff.
This is a Betsy buff.
But like, so like,
by making the other Guardians weaker, Betsy is stronger.
It hurts exactly. Bravo and
Valda. Which, guess who my 2 favorite Guardians are?
Technically Jarl too, because it can block Oakenold, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't hurt Pleiades. It doesn't hurt Victor. It doesn't hurt Betsy.
I'm gonna have to be a Pleiades main when she comes out.
I might become a Pleiades main when she comes out. We'll see.
I'm so excited. Anyways, moving on to the next one, we have Visit Anvilheim. It's a blue X cost 3 block where it says remove X -1 counters from a Guardian offhand equipment you control. Pretty cool. That one's pretty cool. I gotta admit. Like you have Season Survivor, which is a Battle Worn 3 shield.
Yes.
But you've never been able to use it. This allows you to use it. You could do something really funny. Yeah. You could do something really cool with this where it's like, or not really cool. You could do some cheeky stuff with this, like Stalagmite. Like I can keep removing -1 counters from Stalagmite with a Tunic counter.
Okay, though.
And like I can get a lot. It's okay, but it is some like cheeky thing you can do. But anyways, I think it's a fun card that might make it into some list. It costing X is actually a huge downside, but it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because the clear target for this right now is Season Savior because it comes in with 2 -1 counters on it.
I realized I said it wrong.
No, you're good. I think is this a Battle Worn or Temper?
I looked it up yesterday. As soon as this card was spoiled, my first thought was Season Savior, and I'm like, looking it up.
So
it's Battle Worn.
You get to block 1, then you play this for X = 3. You put 3. You remove 3 -1 counters on it. So now this shield blocks a total of 6. So you spent 2 cards to block 6, which is great because that's like starting to get into that CYB territory of you're just defending. You don't care if it's underrated at first because it's basically enforcing your opponent to convert their entire hand, right? And I can't remember what the card is, but there's cards that put additional block on your equipment, right? Or like they make your equipment block more. Um,
Yeah, there's an aura from the first set. That's a yellow aura that
yeah.
is your equipment block one more for turn at the beginning of your action phase. Destroy this.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, exactly. And it was a tech in I think Victor against Zen or something, or maybe it's Bravo against Zen. Regardless, it was something that was actually being played for a little bit. Um, and that card, this it makes Season Savior way better because now it blocks 4 if it's refreshed. So then you got even more value out of your Visit Anvilheim. So
So
I think that this card, it looks just okay. Like it looks like, oh, it's like a meme with Season Savior, but I don't think it's as much of a meme as people might think it
I
is.
think it allows Guardian to claim the fatigue again, where
Yeah.
it's like for a long time, Guardian has not been able to fatigue because of how the game has just evolved. I think this card alone allows Guardian to go back on the fence, and become the fatigue deck.
Yeah.
Really cool. I actually think it's a really exciting card in that way.
All right, let's do speed run.
Speedrun, yes.
All right.
The next card, Test of Iron Grip. It is a red 4-block card. When this defense class the attacking hero, the winner, if there is a winner, the other hero discards a card. Weird wording, but it's pummel on the back end, and it's like I like it, but I also absolutely hate it because it could be, oh, I'm gonna block 4. Oh, I lost out of nowhere. Dash IO revealed the thing. I revealed the pummel. Oh, let me get a gold. And then or like, and all of a sudden I lose my turn because I decided to block. Like,
yeah, it's interesting.
I think Victor's probably the only one that's gonna run this, but it's a defensive pummel that sometimes backfires and you have to discard. Like, it's
Yeah, it feels very much like Return Fire, where everyone saw this and were like, "Wait, why is there a 0 for 7 being printed?" But then you realize, okay, only one hero can use it, and it's not even going to be a 0 for 7 half the time. Like, it ends up it's kind of fine.
sometimes this is a red block 1.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like 30% of the time, this is a red block 1. 70% of the time, it's a red block 7. Like,
Pretty good still, if you put it that way.
yeah.
Um,
The next one is Peck Perfect. It's a red 5 cost, 3 block, 9 attack. Whenever a card defends this, clash with the defending hero, the winner destroys the top card of the other hero's deck.
seems
Why
okay.
is this majestic?
Yeah, that's my thought too. It's like it seems
Like,
fine.
this is a common level card if common was like unplayable and commoner, but
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't even put that in a commoner deck. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. It seems very, very fine.
yeah.
I do have something fun about this card. So this was spoiled by Pitch Perfect podcast, and I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. They put up a it wasn't necessarily a poll. It was like a Twitter post, and they said, "Hey, recommend us names for our new podcast. Like we don't have a name for it yet. We need name recommendations." And I replied to them and said, "Pitch Perfect sounds like a fun name for a podcast." And they ended up taking it, and I won like they had like a prize for it too, which was some Prism promos at the time. And so I got the Prism promos for it, and I basically created the name for their podcast. And part of me thinks that this card was named for Pitch Perfect podcast because it's called Peck Perfect, and that's like a really odd name for a card. So I feel like it was named with Pitch Perfect podcast in mind to spoil it. And so I'm like, in my head canonically, I influenced the name of a Flesh and Blood card. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That is cool.
I'm gonna take a little bit of credit for it for the name of a Flesh and Blood card.
And it is cool that like they'll do this with like creators like that and step in and like have them influence the game. I'm just so sad that this card is unplayable.
One day we're gonna have a card that's breaking the chain. It's gonna be called Breaking the Chain card.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna get there.
One day. The next card, speedrunning, is Headbutt, a blue 4 cost, 3 block, 6 attack. This can't be defended by a non-head equipment. If you have a head equipment and the defending hero doesn't, this gets +1. Crush, when this deals 4 more damage to a hero, put a -1 counter on their head if they have equipped. Then if it has 0, destroy it. I love this card. I love it. It's so good. I wish I could rant about this for an hour. Anyways, Guardians finally got a usable blue, and it's usable because even when the crush effect is no longer relevant, it gets a power buff. It is really cool in that way.
Yeah.
And destroying a head equipment can sometimes be really, really, really good.
Mm-hmm. It's a good pitch, that card. I want to point out that like a lot of people, they initially read this card and they think that you can only use helmets to block with it. You can't block with anything besides helmets. It's just saying the only equipment you can use to block with it is a helmet. It's not saying you can still block with cards from hand like normal.
Yeah, which also makes it a little more powerful when like you're trying to destroy someone specifically. Like say you're into the Guardian Mirror, there's a -1 on it, and you're trying to destroy their Crown of Providence because you want to throw a CNC next turn. It was really powerful, really cool. I love
Terrace
this
Thunder,
card.
pretty good with this card. You know,
Yeah,
stuff like
it's
that.
so cool. Love it. Anyways, and then the last one that just got spoiled is Fearless Confrontation, which is a blue 3 cost, 3 block, 5 attack, instant. Discard this target attack gets -1 and lose. Can't gain.
And this is a
dominate.
generic, by the way.
It is generic. Thank you.
Yeah, instant.
More
it's
Guardian hate. Let's go.
It's weird because like so instant discard this. The attack gets -1 and loses and can't gain dominate. It's like okay, right? Like it's mostly an Azalea card, but Azalea doesn't exist anymore. But you don't want to often be spending a whole card to remove dominate. Sure, you remove 1 power from it too. There's some cases where this will be, life-saving because it stops a crush effect or some other on hit, right? But for the most part, spending a whole card to do that effect, it's kind of okay, right? A lot of times the on hit is doing like a card's worth of value anyway. So
and it costs 3, so not a lot of decks want to run it.
yeah,
There are 2 decks in the game that I could see running this. 1, KO, because he turns into a 6 and you can discard it, and it's a 6/3 block. And it has some additional effect that's a discard effect, so you can create a might off of it. That's pretty cool.
oh,
2,
that's true.
2, Bravo. Because Bravo wants to be that defensive guardian and sit back and do all that extra stuff. It costs 3. You can get rid of dominate, block when you need to block, or you can pitch to hammer with it, and it still blocks 3 whenever you're in the defensive. Like,
Yeah,
it fits Bravo's like, I want to do everything, and it has a useful effect on Bravo. So
you cut out like the entire thing there, but yeah, Bravo doesn't have a great a great effect. Yeah,
yeah, he doesn't have a lot of good blues. Sorry.
yeah, are good blues. Yeah, but all right. Anything else you want to leave the audience with before we hop off?
No, I'm just ready for more spoilers.
Hell yeah. All right. With that, I'm Cody.
And I'm Jacob.
Thanks for watching and listening.